The Leafs just sent the NHL a horrifying message as following an unbelievable game one against the Panthers, they come out in game two and make an absolute statement despite all the controversy that was going on before the game about Anthony Stolarz, about the refereeing, some controversy within the game about the refs. The Leafs come out and send an absolute message, not just to the Panthers, but to the entire NHL, that this team is not only very serious, but we have some updates and some things to go over today that are a little bit absurd. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage you aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been beasts. 70 or so percent of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed. We're getting very close to 17,000 subscribers. And if you are happy that the Toronto Maple Leafs are up 2-0 for the first time in the second round in the Core 4 era, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, ton to go over today. Darius, an electric stream last night. There's a lot to go over. And of course, it feels good. We are up 2-0 against the defending Stanley Cup champions. They play tomorrow. These turnarounds are crazy. Stolarz, we're supposed to hopefully hear an update later today. We'll have a video on that. The NHL is horrified of this. And the more you look at it, and we even have some comments from Brad Marchand coming out and ridiculous things. Let's start with a little bit of an overview of the game here. And shout out to Williston here. Game 2 thoughts. Massive spot going into Florida up 2-0. The second line is dominating offensively and Leafs continue to get timely depth scoring. Not urgent as they need to continue to win, but need to figure out how to beat Florida's penalty kill. Guys, this team might be special. And we have a bunch of comments, a ton, so stay tuned for that. I want to get your thoughts on this, Darius. They go up 2-0 heading into Florida. You got a split in Florida. One of the big issues is they've seen to have Bobrovsky figure out Florida's very aggressive penalty kill. But man, oh man, this team looks absolutely different, special, and it's a weird feeling, one that neither of us have felt before.
Ever, I think, in our lifetime at least. And it's really special what this team is doing right now. You said something off the top that, the Leafs are up 2-0 in a second round series for the first time in the Core 4 era, but it's actually the first time they're up 2-0 in a second round series since 1986. Yeah. So it's been a long time and it feels really good. And on top of all of that, they're winning these games scoring goals 5-on-5. They have not figured it out on the power play yet. And like you said, that's a big thing that they got to figure out going into Florida. If they can start to score some power play goals, watch out. This team is going to be really dangerous because, again, they're getting the job done 5-on-5. The second line looks very dangerous with Max Pacioretty up there, who looks well suited for this series in particular. So I'm loving everything I'm seeing. Again, the first line, which we'll touch on in a little bit as well, getting filled in last night a little bit. You want to, hopefully not have that happen when you go over to Florida for games 3 and 4. But the Leafs are on a roll right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're hunting pucks. They're strong on the forecheck. They're not even playing the Panthers game because I feel like I've seen a lot of people saying that they're beating the Panthers at their own game. It's not true. The Toronto Maple Leafs, for the first time in maybe my lifetime, at least in 20, 25 years, are playing their game, and it's working because it's a good game plan. And I love it. It's absolutely electric. There's a buzz in the city, and this team looks really good, but there's still a job to get done here in Florida.
Yeah, got to finish the job. I mean, obviously, William Nylander, he enters Maple Leaf history here. Through first 8 playoff games, he's joining some fantastic company. You can see here Daryl Sittler, Dougie Gilmore, Gordy Drillin, Larry McDonald, like crazy company. And he's right in the smack dab middle of it. But let's dive into a few different things here now. This was an incredible game. You can see the box score. Feel free to pause and read it. But let's dive into some quotes from Craig Berube on William Nylander. Nothing gets to him. He doesn't feel pressure. There's no too big of a stage for him. When he smells something, he wants to be there. What have you learned about him? Just leave him alone. And this is very interesting. And we've been through, the Core 4 era, both of us, obviously, but especially last season when William Nylander was yelling at his teammates, all these different things. He was one of the ones that, despite all this stuff with the Core 4 that has been put to bed temporarily for now, he cared. He cared more than, from what we see, at least from the outside looking in, anybody. And maybe, we're not privy to being inside, the clubhouse, things like that. But it is clear that he wants it. And even in yesterday's game, he was absolutely dominant and nothing gets to him at all. He doesn't feel pressure. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league. He's signed for the Leafs for years now. And just leave him alone. And this all ties into Brad Marchand's shocking comment. It seems like every time we gave them the opportunity to get above us, they created something or capitalized on it. It shows how dangerous they are. It doesn't take much for them to score. We had to make sure we're pretty much perfect on defensive coverage. And he also went out and said that this team feels, a little bit different than teams, very different than teams he's played in the past on the Bruins, when of course he was on the Bruins. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Some praise from Marchand, maybe some, reverse psychology here. So if they can go up, they can, can trash talk him back. But yeah. I mean, he's right. If Florida's coverage isn't perfect, the Leafs almost every time snap back. And one of the most memorable ones was the Domi goal. Of course, the Mitch Marner goal as well. I mean, at this juncture, when you have the Domi line rolling, you are in a very good spot for just in general, organizationally, this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're playing with a lot of composure right now. Like the Florida Panthers were trying to goad them into, a lot of the physicality, the stuff after the whistles, all that stuff. They're not paying it any mind. Obviously, Holmberg did get one penalty because of that, but that's one penalty in the entire series so far, and that's kind of Florida's game. So they're playing really, really well right now. And in terms of William Nylander, the slander, it's done. That narrative, it's all dead now at this point. He is that guy. There is no moment that's too big for this guy. He shows up every single time they need him in 2023. In 2021, he was still scoring, right? There was talk of the core four disappearing. He was actually still scoring. In 2022, he was scoring big goals. 2023, you can remember against the Florida Panthers in game five, he tied the game late. 2024, he scored in game seven. Like he's always there, and he's continuing it into this year. So he's been fantastic. He's always been that guy. And like Berube said, like there's no moment that's too big for him. He loves these moments. And again, Berube has a very interesting relationship with him because I feel like a lot of the coaches before in Babcock, and I say a lot of the coaches, but the two coaches before in Babcock and Sheldon Keefe were maybe too hard on him. I don't want to say too hard on him, but like, they were trying to have a different relationship with him. And I feel like Berube is just kind of trying to hear him out and let him do his own thing because he's a skilled player and trying to work with him, but not trying to put him in a box. And I think that's the best case scenario for William Nylander. And obviously, we've seen it this year, a career year again in the regular season, and he's leading the team right now. I mean, if the Leafs won the Stanley Cup tomorrow, we're only halfway there. Let's not jump, too far ahead. But if they did, he would probably be up for the Conn Smythe for the team, right? Like he's the best player right now. So he's been fantastic. Would like to have him up his physicality a little bit in certain situations, but he's been fantastic. So if he continues to play the way that he is, they're going to continue to find success. This team from the top down is playing really well right now.
Yeah, Marchand comes out and said the game ready to play this round, and we see that. I hope you see it because it's the reality, Brad. You're down 2-0 in the series. Joseph Woll, shout out to him as well. I haven't touched on him too much in the stream of the videos. He was great. And we'll find out later today what the status is in Stolarz. We had this debate, and let us know down below if you would start Stolarz tomorrow if he's 100% healthy. I think they're going to start Woll no matter what. Give either A, Stolarz some extra rest, or B, Woll is the most comfortable one right now. And obviously, it's crazy to say because 2 days ago was the polar opposite. He's coming off of a win. He said, it's been a focus of mine. Stay consistent in my approach. I did what I knew I had to do. And the goal was for Joseph Woll to not lose the Leafs the game and to give up 5 goals, whatever it was. If you keep him within striking distance, the Leafs team is good enough and playing good enough right now to win any game. And that's ultimately what happened here. And it's because the Leafs are a completely different team. And let's dive into some of the interesting comments here. And of course, we know coming into the series, there was, about how tough it's going to be. Craig Berube came out at the start of the series, all these different things. Anytime you're playing, the Stanley Cup champion is going to be the underdog. And I want to bring this up because this was before the series started. They've completely, not necessarily flipped it on the head now, but we knew if they just did their job and played the way they played, they were going to be in a very, very good spot. And that translates perfectly now to being up. It's crazy because we were talking, I had this screenshot up prior to the series, and now right here, enjoy it now. We're up 2-0, but get ready to work against Florida. So it's going to be a very interesting one because obviously Florida, they're going to come back firing. They came back firing tonight. And it's great to have this veteran leadership from Max Pacioretty. He has been, unbelievable, I guess is the word to use. Craig Berube shouts out Mitch Marner as well for how good he's been. Max Pacioretty for a minute, just to touch on him. I want to get your thoughts on this. I was obviously on the Pacioretty train before we even signed him, but regardless of that, shout out to Craig Berube for riding with him even after his one bad game against the Senators where people were clamoring for Nick Robertson. Darius, myself, we were debating whether it should be a thing.
I said it.
He is the perfect matchup for Florida. Throw Pacioretty in the Conn Smythe, conversation if they somehow go all the way. Knock on wood, obviously. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. A goal and an assist. He has 5 points in 6 playoff games. He's one of the Leafs' best players. Was the top of the impact score chart, in case you missed our stream yesterday night.
Yeah, he was on top of the impact score chart. He was one of the best players, at least in terms of advanced analytics last night. And he's been fantastic since he's been entered, put back into the lineup and entered the games again. And, I think this series is a better matchup for him specifically than maybe Ottawa, but he was still a difference maker, obviously, in Ottawa scoring the series winning goal. And then when you move towards yesterday, kicks it off, right? Sets the tone. He ties the game 1-1 with the early goal, and he's throwing the body around. You know what he brings, on the physicality end. He's playing on that line with John Tavares, who's also been really good, but obviously a lot of the center depth is going to be canceled out in this series just because Florida's so good on the other end as well. But hopefully he can get going too. But Pacioretty's doing his thing, getting to the front of the net, creating plays, and absorbing hits. He's doing a really good job of, taking his time, making plays with the puck. And when guys try to hit him on Florida, he's just taking his time with the puck and he absorbs the hit, makes a good play, puts the puck in a good area, or he's putting it to somebody's tape. So he's been great. That experience, that leadership that he's bringing, he's ready to get back to work. And I know Florida's going to have a big response on Friday night and, of course, Sunday as well. But I think the Leafs are going to be ready to go too. Like, if you can get a split here, and again, at this point, they're up 2-0. Like, maybe it is a sweep, right? I don't think Florida's going to go down that easy, but if you can get a split here in games 3 and 4, heading back home with a 3-1 advantage, I mean, that's going to feel really good.
Completely reset. If you win tomorrow's game, you are up, just let alone all these other games. If you win one hockey game, you're up 3-0 with a chance to advance to the conference finals. And yes, this is the same Leafs team that has been causing us pain for over a decade or longer, depending on how long you've been a fan. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below your thoughts. There are a ton of videos coming out today because there's going to be some updates here. And enjoy it for now. A stress-free day of watching hockey, playoff basketball, whatever you're watching. Ladies and gentlemen, the Leafs are this team is special.